Welcome back. The Super Rugby Union, one of the major affiliates of rugby in Fiji, is calling on the current FRU board to make changes to some positions within the organization. Chairman Commander Francis Keane raised this during the special general meeting held last week.
During the special general meeting over the weekend, Super Rugby Union Chairman Commander Francis Keane raised concerns on the removal of Carl Cameron from the position of FRU's Games Committee Chairman. Keane says Cameron's legal background comes in handy.
To my understanding, Carl was the Games Committee Chairman then. He managed to solve the issue between Naitasiri and Andronga, and we are thankful for that. Immediately after that, he wasn't holding the position anymore, and the reason behind it is still unclear.
He also questioned whether the current leadership of the Games Committee should be maintained or changed, given that the organization has a lot of pending cases.
I leave it to the board to decide whether Moore should still be Games Committee Chairman or it be given back to Carl. The whole reason because of the Games rules and every legal aspect that comes with it.
The FRU Chairman has clarified that they will look into the matter and inform the unions if changes occur.
We accept the motion that has been put to the floor and has been seconded. The board will look and walk into it, and we will see that whatever decisions we make will respect the interest of the unions.
A decision is expected before the annual general meeting in April. Selina Navuso, Fiji One News.
The Fiji Rugby Union is keeping its fingers crossed that Australian-based Mitchell Wade will be eligible to play for the national team at the Pacific Rugby Cup. Wade is keen to represent Fiji and was trying to sort out eligibility issues with immigration officials today. Wade wrote to Fiji coaching staff expressing his interest to play for Fiji. His parents owned the Hideaway Resort on the Coral Coast for over 25 years.
Mitchell Wade standing up for selection as he went through his first trial run with the Fiji Warriors side.
I originally actually sent an email to Inoki Mali at the very beginning, and then Nada emailed me after that to then come to Fiji and actually trial out for the Warriors. So that's how it's all sort of happened.
The 24-year-old who resided in Fiji from 1990 to 2000 is keen to represent the country. During the 10 years of stay here, he fell in love with Fiji and made his own arrangements to come for a trial.
Can't wait to put on the white jersey. It's always been a inspiration of mine to definitely sort of come through and play for Fiji.
The Melbourne-born plays for University of Queensland as a hooker. He could have pursued the green and gold of Australia, but he's opted to pursue his childhood dream.
I've always said when I was a younger kid living in Hideaway Resort that I was always going to come to Fiji and play for Fiji one day and wear the white jersey and run on. So
Wade soaked the pressure of the first training run, although he admits he will have to first adjust to the Fiji style of playing.
It was good. I'm still sort of dealing with the heat a little bit. It's very different to Brisbane, but you know it's always nice to sort of get out here and train in sunshine, so it's always good.
Now the challenge is on him to make the selection for the Pacific Rugby Cup.
Definitely hoping to make the selection team and then move on to the Flying Fijians as the years go on.
Wade met with the immigration officials today and will know later this week if he's eligible to represent Fiji at higher levels. Irfan Khan, Fiji One News.
Following on from their back-to-back title success, the Chiefs were first to the finish line in a go-kart race between the Kiwi Super Rugby franchises yesterday. 2 members from each franchise took their chances on the track as part of the official Super Rugby 2014 season launch in Auckland.
Racing towards a new campaign. Also approaching 2014 with an air of calm as professional sport comes under a more intense spotlight. Super players are now younger than ever.
There always will be issues, and there have been.
300 young men who we asked to train and play hard. And inevitably with that size group, you're going to have some that don't get it right all the time.
Stu says number one for rugby is education, including working with Sport New Zealand and other codes around social media, alcohol and drugs. They'll also talk to Rugby League about the issues with sleeping pills mixed with energy drinks, the consequences and risks.
If you've got a cross-section of society, you're going to have a cross-section of society's issues. And so rugby doesn't deny that we'll have the same issues if we're not careful.
All Black star Corey Jane has lived life in the fast lane. He learnt a harsh lesson out drinking before the quarter-finals at the World Cup in 2011. In this pre-season, the Hurricanes have discussed the pitfalls.
You try and tell a 20-year-old
he's got a drinking problem, he'll tell you, you're an idiot. But now that you're in the spotlight, whether you want it or not, you are a role model.
On the field, Jane is desperate for a full season, missing last year's Super campaign through a serious knee injury.
To me, our rugby was pretty boring and frustrating. So this year, in this pre-season, we're trying to change our identity a little bit.
In a possible pointer to the new season, the Chiefs won the first kart race today. Rugby hopes it'll be all eyes on the players on the track in the season ahead.
And Super Rugby kicks off this weekend with home games only in South Africa. The Lions, back into the competition, play away against the Cheetahs while the Sharks host the Bulls. Both matches air back-to-back on Sunday morning, with the first match on Sky Pacific and the second on Fiji One. 2 months to the annual Athletics Fiji Finals, and organisers have requested that the two-day event be staged in the weekend. Last year was the first time the Coca-Cola Games were staged on a Thursday and Friday. A letter of request has been sent to the Ministry of Education requesting for a shift back to Friday and Saturday.
There is a likelihood of a change, as our sponsor is requesting us if we could ask the ministry to have it on Friday and Saturday, as it used to be in previous years.
Of all zone athletics qualifiers in the secondary schools, and this year organisers are hopeful for a record in gate takings.
It's a family affair for us. A lot of old scholars normally come in on Saturday. They work on Friday. So to try and maximize the benefit to our sponsor, we would and also probably get more money for the association. It would be best for us that we shifted to Friday and Saturday, so that a lot of people come over to the match game on Saturday.
The Mba and Nandi football teams will try to close the gap on Suva in the National League competition this weekend. Lying second and third respectively on the point standings, 6 behind leaders Suva, Nandi will travel to the north to face Lambasa, eyeing their third straight win. Mba will have home ground advantage against Rewa after making a good start in the competition. On Sunday, Suva will try to extend their lead when they face Nandronga at home. Lautoka and Navua are on by this weekend. 10 Fijian players will feature at this weekend's Auckland Nines, which is a shorter, faster and more exciting version of rugby league. Melbourne Storm's Sisawanga has been highlighted as the man to watch. The Fiji Mbati, to last year's World Cup and NRL Premiership winner, who also played sevens for the national side before switching, believes his experience will set him clear from other players. The 27-year-old guided Fiji to the semi-finals of the World Cup before they were humbled by Australia 64-0 at Wembley. Rugby league fans will get an opportunity to see some of the game's biggest off-season signings in action for 2 days this weekend, live only on Fiji One. Matches from Eden Park kick off 11:35 a.m. Saturday, with 16 matches on day 1. Day 2 kicks off at the same time, with the grand final scheduled for 6:30 p.m. Another Samoan boxer is having a crack at the World Boxing Heavyweight title. This time, Australian-based Alex Leapai is taking on the much taller Vladimir Klitschko for a triple heavyweight world boxing title fight in Germany. They met for the first time at a press conference on Wednesday morning at Oberhausen, where Leapai, who's won 30 of his 37 fights, 24 by way of knockouts, will attempt to cause a massive upset on April 26th. But at 198 centimeters tall, Klitschko is a whopping 15 centimeters taller than 34-year-old Leapai, and also has a huge 16 centimeter reach advantage. The Ukrainian Colossus has won his last 19 fights, and by the time he steps into the ring with Leapai, it will be more than 10 years since his last loss. 6 Indian international cricketers, including Captain MS Dhoni, have been named as part of an investigation in a match-fixing scandal. Indian media reporting Dhoni and Suresh Raina are part of an investigation into betting and spot fixing in the Indian Premier League. Dhoni is currently with the Indian team in New Zealand, preparing for the second test in Wellington on Friday. The names of the players have been given to the Supreme Court in a sealed cover. Since the IPL's debut in 2008, the league has been dogged by various allegations, including kickbacks in television rights, as well as irregularities in sponsorship deals and the bidding process for franchises. Black Caps Jesse Ryder and Doug Bracewell have been fined for misconduct following a late-night drinking last week. The two squad members were out drinking until 3 a.m. the morning of the first cricket test against India in Auckland. The amount of the fine remains confidential. Ryder and Bracewell have already been removed from consideration for the Black Caps squad for the second test against India in Wellington.
The Black Caps back in the capital, minus Jesse Ryder and Doug Bracewell. Ryder's off-field form virtually cancelling him out of next month's T20 World Cup.
I would think his selection for that upcoming event is highly unlikely.
Ryder's well-documented battle with the booze continues. Bracewell yet again shooting himself in the foot. Both players smashing any faith management had in them out of the park.
So this betrayed all of that, and the selectors are aware of that. So it'll be a long time, I think, before they can rebuild that trust with the selectors.
For Otago all-rounder Jimmy Neesham, there's been a test call-up to replace Bracewell, all in the middle of a media firestorm after that night out in Auckland.
That's sort of off-the-field stuff is off the field, and while it's sort of taking up a lot of the media spotlight, I don't think it's something that the players are focusing on.
Neesham also playing down talk. He was Ryder's minder.
We were going to go out for a couple of beers, and it just happened to be at the end of the night it was just me and him remaining. So I think we're both adults, and we've managed to find our way home in the end.
Ryder again finding his way on the outer with New Zealand cricket, a frustrating day for his former boxing trainer.
If he was my boy and I was his manager, I'd be sleeping in the same flaming room as him, and if he was going for a drink, I'd be with him, all right? We'd be in the bedroom. Nobody would know about it if you had to have a drink. But drink's one thing, a bottle's another.
Graham holding on to hope the big-hitting 29-year-old can make it back.
I want to believe that, you know. I've got kids in my gym. They've got issues. We all have issues, you know, and we need help.
Off-field distractions can't be helping the Black Caps, hoping for a rare Test Series win against India.
That's sports for today, Vili.
Thanks, Myron. Stay with us for World News after the break.